believe it or not, the pants were more ridiculous.
It's true, too. It is true.
Were you surprised Harden carried the
I'm
Sixers?
going to ask you a quick question for you,
Yeah.
Nick. Just looking at that press conference,
Yeah.
does he want Embiid back? I mean, you know what I'm
Felt
saying?
good to do what I want.
Yeah, he looked
His wife's out of
overjoyed.
town. Like, you guys should get a divorce.
Right. I will say I am very surprised that they won the game. Now, I get it. We've seen it, right? The Lakers lost to Memphis with Ja Morant out. Milwaukee beat Miami with Giannis out. So it happens, and you know that in your mind that, hey, they could step up and Boston could take them lightly. But I'm still very surprised at what happened. I thought with Embiid out, Boston would run through them. I am not surprised, Nick, at Harden.
Oh,
really?
I'm not. Because Harden, I have felt like I know he's a little older, but I don't feel like he's declined much. Like, I feel like if he was still in Houston, or if Embiid wasn't on the Sixers or was out for the entire year, Harden could do this. I mean, he's not going to average 45, but he could go back to putting up similar numbers to what he did in Houston. He's just playing a different way. And, Nick, I've always said this about Harden. He is one of, he said it in his conference. He said, not many guys have been able to switch from one to the other.
He's right.
He is one of the very few players who I think is an all-time elite scorer and an all-time elite playmaker.
Right.
He was great at point guard in Brooklyn. I thought he was great this year as a point guard in Philadelphia. So I'm not surprised. But, Nick, look, you know what I'm waiting for. Will you do this when the lights are the brightest
lights are
in the
pretty
state?
bright right
No,
now.
they're not. No, last night was a perfect Harden game.
Because no
It was
expectation.
no pressure.
All right, that's fair.
Nobody
But
expected
still-
them to win.
but-
Go out there and you get to shoot because Embiid's not here. It was a perfect setup.
all that's fair. I get that.
That's all I'm
It was
saying.
kind of all reward, very little risk.
Nobody
if you
was
will.
gonna kill him
But
if he had 19
you're still
points.
trailing with 30 seconds left, ball in your hand, and he made the shot.
Yes,
And so
that was a great
in
shot.
that moment, there's immense pressure. But while maybe you were surprised in the method in which Philadelphia won, you should not be surprised they won. Because all Philadelphia does is win.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, hold on.
Really?
Brew, I have a question.
You lost us with that.
Wait, okay. Wildes,
Yeah.
is Brew a facts guy or a feelings guy?
Well, he's facts guy.
Okay.
I'm a facts guy.
Yeah.
Yet, oddly, with the Sixers all year, he has seemed to be very Drakish, quite in his feelings. Let me show you a few
I'll give you a little
facts.
feeling. There's a little
All right,
feeling
and we
about
will
the
go short term to
fair.
long
This
term.
is- doesn't
Never
warrant a
lost.
graphic.
Okay, you say that's ridiculous. Okay, so
That
you want
is.
me to, okay, so you want me to expand it past the postseason. Who's been the best team in the league since, I don't know, the All-Star break? There's Philadelphia. Would you like me to expand further? How about since December? December, Brew. That's the best team by a lot of games. By a lot of games.
Pretty good.
Okay, what about how Philadelphia does in the exact situation they were in yesterday? In the clutch. Well, in the regular season, they were the best. In the playoffs, they've been the best. And this is why it's so surprising to me. Brew, who did you vote for league MVP? Embiid. So they have a league MVP. They have a former league MVP who you're saying still has this type of game capable to him. Daryl Morey, to his credit, and full disclosure, he's my close friend, but I think he deserves credit on this, built the deepest team anyone has in the playoffs. They are a legit 10 deep for the postseason. They are. And
I think that's arguable, though.
Okay, arguably the deepest team. They played 8 solid guys last night without their MVP playing. DeAnthony Melton comes in. B-Ball Paul has a huge finish of the game. Why would you not believe the Sixers team can win the conference or win the title? What more would you need them to prove?
I will give you this, and this is a little feelings. It's a little history.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe we've seen Doc struggle. So, I know he won in 08.
Those are
but
just facts,
since
though.
then, they have struggled mightily under Doc in the playoffs. How many 3-1 leads has he blown? Oh, more than anybody in history. How many times have we seen Harden fail in the big moments? How many times have we seen this Philly team? Because I'm going to be honest, Nick, and I'll give you're right about those facts. I have no fear. None. And maybe I should. But I have no fear about Boston winning this series, even after last night. Boston gets silly at times under Joe Mazzulla. I'm going to give you that.
And
they're not quite what they were last year under Udoka. But again, I firmly admit that I might just be looking at too much of the history of Doc and Harden.
Sure.
And even Embiid to some degree. And how Boston would, had they beaten Philly time after time after time the last several years in the playoffs. So maybe maybe it's kind of a Denver thing. Like, look, I'll believe it when you do it.
And by the way, I want to be fair here, clear here. I think that's totally fair. I think there are certain teams, players, or coaches that if you feel like you have been bitten by or they have a long history of not coming through, that they do reach a point where you're like, I will believe it once you have done it and not a moment before that. I am going in the other direction on this because the only guy on the Sixers who I think truly has an indefensible postseason resume is Harden. I think Embiid's is defensible. It's not great, but you can find the reasons. Doc, we always, except for the time he won the title and then made it to another Game 7 of the finals. So it's not like it's just a horrible postseason
It's just been
resume.
since then.
Hasn't been great, no doubt about it. Because of the one guy that to me is the biggest question mark is Harden, because he doesn't have to be the man. For this, I'm not picking them because I think he's going to do that. It is a nice bonus that your second best guy or a certain night your third best guy can do that. That once Embiid gets back and now, and I know we're going to get to it, he maybe has some more time, I think they're the most dangerous team in the conference.
Y'all know I like Harden, all right? I do. And I would, Harden, Nick, we've talked about this over the years on this show. It'd be great to see him win the championship. Yeah. It really would. But I like seeing this. I'll believe it when I see it, but this is good leadership, and he stepped up.
Yeah, a little bit there.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's a tiny hedge. It's a tiny hedge.
No, I got Boston, but I'm just saying I like LeBron as a player.
A little emotional hedge.
Just a little bit. No, you got the Warriors, but it would be great if LeBron.
How many toes down?
Can you not like how many toes down on Boston?
Yeah.
In this series, I'm 10, man. I'm 10.
Okay.
I'm 10.
What do you think of that, Wildes?
Well, just I felt like it was nothing.
No, you didn't.
What, that?
No, his post-game comments, it seems like it piqued your interest.
No, I don't know if Tatum's the guy, man. I don't know if Tatum's the guy.
You don't like Tatum.
I like him.
You bring up the 100 turnovers.
Well,
I only bring it up because he turned the ball over 100 times.
It's true. So here's the thing on are the Celtics overrated? That is a different question than are the Celtics any good? Of course they're good. Are the Celtics legitimate contenders? Sure. But going into yesterday's game, they were almost even money versus the rest of the league to win the title. And I would ask...
And aren't they still?
Right, well, they're still the favorites, but they're not even money. They're now like plus 200. They were plus 125. When is the last time the Boston Celtics looked awesome? I know the answer. Fear the Deer Friday.
That's true.
That was the last time when they beat Milwaukee by 41 a month ago, and it ruined Milwaukee's season. Wildes cursed them, and we had an antler literally fall off backstage.
Wasn't great.
That's the last time Boston's looked great. There are warning signs blaring.
There are.
And this, I think, right. So against Atlanta, Game 5 at home, which now, especially because we know the extent of Embiid's injury, they would have rather this series had to start earlier. Game 5 at home, no DeJounte Murray because he bucked up against a ref for some reason. You lose. This game, no Embiid. You shoot 85% in the first quarter of the game. 38 points. And you lose. Those are warning signs. Jaylen Brown being 6 of 7 from the field in the first quarter, finished 8 of 10. Right. That means he had 3 shots the rest of the game. It was weird when he was asked about it after the game. There are a lot of odd Jaylen Brown stuff going on. He's got the cut on his hand. He's got the weird interviews, the post-game press conference. He shows up to play, and he's a very good player. But they had no way to guard him. There was no reason for him to take 3 shots in the final 3 quarters. And you brought up Doc. I counter that. Joe Mazzulla, we have no idea if he is ready for this at this moment. Now, we didn't know with Udoka, and he proved he was, but he hasn't looked like Udoka so far. A lot of concerning signs with the Celtics right now.
They are overrated.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, they're overrated.
Let's just say yes.
Even if I still think they're the best team left in the East, I don't think they should be the favorite in the league. I think the Lakers, I think Golden State, maybe Denver, I would see, but I just don't think they should be the overwhelming favorites to win it all. Now, like I said, I still think they can win the East, but look, you're right, Nick. They have not – we've seen the warning signs in the regular season, taking teams lightly. Obviously, Atlanta, they don't have the focus that they used to have under Udoka. And the Jaylen Brown thing is a result. Mazzulla said, I got to be better, call more plays. But some of that, Jaylen Brown, that's on you too. You are a leader on this team. You're the second best player. You can go get your shot whenever you want it. And for him to have 3 shots in the last 3 quarters is unbelievable. He doesn't, but defensively too. They were a great defensive team under Udoka. They've shown it at times this season, but the defense isn't what it used to be. And finally, how did they beat Philly, Nick, in all those postseason series?
End of game execution.
Late game execution. And you just saw last night 2 gaffes on the 2 late possessions. And so, yeah, I got some concerns about them and Mazzulla.
That's what I was going to ask quickly. At the last play of the game, the Marcus Smart kind of layup. Do you think that was an indictment on Mazzulla or just a play breakdown?
I think it's I think it's more a play breakdown. I actually thought Marcus Smart had an opportunity. You're not talking about the shot clock violation, right? You're talking about the actual last play. I thought Marcus Smart had a 6-footer if he wanted it. I thought that they maybe correctly assumed they're going to sell out against Tatum. Marcus, you can go. And Marcus then didn't, oddly, given his career, he didn't want to take that shot. And they end up turning it over. Just lastly, real quick on the Celtics, they are a team full of guys who are either known as defenders or known as great two-way players. Derek White is all-NBA caliber defense. Marcus Smart, 1 Defensive Player of the Year. Time Lord's there only for his defense. Jaylen Brown is supposed to be like a poor man's Kawhi Leonard as far as two-way guy. Jayson Tatum, two-way player. Al Horford is there. He's a good shooter at this point, great defender. How you let Philadelphia play what the TNT guys called a scrimmage, no defensive resistance with no Embiid, what are you doing? It's a home playoff game in round 2. And it's not like Atlanta, where I think there is a level of, man, Atlanta's not going to beat us. And so that was very concerning.
I thought Milwaukee, after they won game 2 without Giannis, we feel like Giannis probably could have played in game 3. And they said, hey, we're 1-1. We just routed them without Giannis. Let's give him a little extra rest. He'll be ready for game 4. And they gave away a game, and the rest is history. I'm looking at this, Nick, like you can't give up games. You can't. Now, yes, they may. I mean, it would be nice to get Embiid extra rest. But why don't you come out there if he's ready? So that's the thing. If he's not ready, of course he's ready. If he's ready and the players know he's ready, it's almost like you're conceding we've done what we came to do, which is split. I don't think you want to send that attitude.
So I don't think there's any – I think it's pretty clear there's an injury that the more time off, the better it will get. And I think probably if game 2 were an elimination game, they would say he could theoretically play but wouldn't be 100%. I was in person in Brooklyn the game he got hurt. I am here to tell you Joel Embiid at 70% does not help them. He is not the way he played in that game that he got injured once he got hurt, he was a liability rather than an asset. So I don't think he has, because now he did get the game-saving block to his credit. If you guys remember that game, that's the last time we've seen him play. I think that see if Harden can do it again. See if Harden can do it again, and you will be giving him, Brew, 2 full weeks off.
What percentage do you think he's at? Because if he's only at 70% for tomorrow,
I don't think
he's not going to be.
And so,
90
I don't have any insight on that. I don't know, but I think that their plan was for him to play game 3. And the fact that they already got the split at a minimum, and just see what happened. Like,
I agree that if he's not ready, don't force him back. But I think you just play it on his health. If he's ready,
they said
get
he's
him out
jogging
there.
at practice today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.